In 1957, my father opened a small shipyard that is located right across the street, and they just worked on shrimp boats and a lot of Coast Guard vessels. In 1966, he met and married my mother, and she joined TNT, and they expanded the small shipyard into inland towing. And in 1970, at the age of 2, I sponsored the first Kelly tea. And as a good friend of mine gave me this, it's the front page of the paper every year since 1968 when I was born. And the headlines in 1970 was the 50th anniversary of the 19th Amendment and women marching for equality. So in 1992, I had recently graduated from college and was kind of figuring out what I was going to do in the world, and it definitely had nothing to do with the maritime industry. And I sponsored my second vessel, and the headlines in 1992 were the hurricanes that were ripping through Louisiana and Florida that year, which is kind of interesting because that's one of the major things that I do now is respond for hurricanes. But the headlines in 2020 are kind of the same. It's the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. We're still marching and calling for equality. Equality's kind of expanded a little bit just beyond women's rights. And COVID-19. So all the things that I have done, and I can promise you that every time I'm honored for something or accomplish something, I always think this is it. This is the big thing for me. But in 2020, the big thing for me was the team lead for our COVID-19 company task force. And professionally, it challenged my mind. It made me kind of think outside the box, but it also gave me an opportunity to protect a group of individuals that have always stood behind me. So for every accomplishment, every civic duty, for anything personal, this group of individuals have always supported me. And so I would like to honor them and dedicate this great honor that the Chamber has bestowed upon me to those individuals. One of the buzzwords this year in 2020 is essential critical infrastructure workers. And I think that I'm very humbled to be honored with the other honorees this year for Women of the Year, because they definitely personify being essential to mind, body, and spirit, and in the case of Maureen Patton, even essential for the soul. 2020 to me, most people will look back and say, it's 2020, anything can happen. But 2020 for me is an opportunity to give back to those individuals who definitely have supported me in every endeavor that I have ever even attempted to try, both professionally and personally.
Suddenly, a violent storm came up on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by waves. But he was asleep. They came and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us, you are perishing." Jesus said to them, "Why are you so terrified, O you of little faith?" Then he got up, rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. Whoa, very good, you did.
So I would like to thank my coworkers who on a daily basis, but especially in the year 2020, took care of their coworkers, their families, and their communities. And I'd also like to thank the Galveston Regional Chamber of Commerce for this great honor and for all of your efforts on behalf of all of the small businesses in our community during COVID and state shutdowns. Although personally with Gina, I'm a little upset that you're making me do this video. I do appreciate all the efforts of yourself and the staff.